So, Rennes keeper Édouard Mendy looks set to be on his way to Chelsea. Here's what to expect. Rennes coach Julien Stéphan confirmed this weekend that Edu will certainly be leaving us for Chelsea, he said at a press conference, the player having said goodbye to his teammates last week, according to Ligue. RMC reported that Chelsea have finally had a bid accepted by Rennes for the 28-year-old Mendy of €24 million plus €6 million in bonuses, a record fee for a Ligue goalkeeper, eclipsing the amount Chelsea paid for Petr Cech in 2004 and the amount that Benjamin Lecomte went to Monaco for from Montpellier, both €13 million. At the time of recording, we're still waiting for confirmation. However, Frank Lampard confirmed a medical took place this weekend. Mendy started out in the famed Le Havre Academy as a teenager but struggled for opportunities before eventually finding his way to Marseille's B team, where he again struggled for game time, having spent 3 years in the third tier with Cherbourg. Already 24 at this stage, Mendy signed for relegated Reims in 2016 as the backup to the experienced Johan Caruso. Mendy largely impressed when given a chance that first season, most notably when Caruso was sent off after just 5 minutes on the opening day against Amiens. Mendy made a string of superb saves and allowed Reims to escape with a draw before mirroring that display the following week to keep a clean sheet in the win over Bourg. Reims finished a disappointing 7th despite being promotion favourites that season, and Michel Dezacarian, the coach, left for Montpellier in the summer. But the incoming David Guillon made Mendy his first choice. Reims won the second division by 15 points that year, and Mendy proved to be one of the best keepers in the league alongside Paul Bernardoni of Clermont, and enjoyed being part of the league's comfortably the league's best defence, which conceded 10 fewer goals than anyone else in Ligue 2. Relative to their resources and standing, Reims were again the best defensive unit in terms of organisation and efficiency in Ligue 1 upon promotion, and remarkably challenged for Europe at one stage, with Mendy arguably the best keeper in the league. A trio of superb stops as Reims beat Marseille 2-1 at the start of February, and a clean sheet in April's 0-0 draw with Monaco were highlights. Rennes paid just $5 million for Mendy last summer, and Reims are set to receive 15% of the sale price to Chelsea. Mendy helped Rennes to a brilliant third-place finish and Champions League football in the COVID-19 affected 19-20 season, and his old club Reims were the only ones who conceded fewer goals than Rennes. Mendy is an extremely reliable, consistent goalkeeper, very rarely making mistakes that lead to goals. He is an imposing, commanding presence and manages the area with authority, particularly from crosses and corners, thanks to his impeccable handling, which stands him in good stead for English football. Although not the most eye-catching of keepers style-wise, his shot-stopping and reflexes have quietly been some of the best in France over the last 2 years. Only Mike Maignan of Lille has kept more clean sheets in that time of keepers who played both seasons in Ligue 1, while Maignan is the only goalkeeper of that group to have conceded fewer goals in Ligue 1 in that period. Mendy's not an all-action intense goalkeeping presence who makes elaborate flying saves, the ones for the camera as the cliche goes. He's a calming presence and economical in his work and positioning, but achieves the same effect as many more spectacular goalkeepers. His technical ability and passing in general are solid, but he isn't going to be spraying 50-yard passes out to the flanks too often, like Ederson of Manchester City, for example. For that reason, you could argue he's a little more old school by very modern standards for a goalkeeper. Rather than likening him to Alisson or Ederson, for example, there are many parallels instead with someone like Edwin van der Sar or Petr Cech, who of course is now Chelsea's technical and performance advisor and joined Chelsea from Rennes as well back in 2004. No doubt he was influential in Mendy's identification and eventual signing. Mendy is a particularly focused, confident and hard-working professional, an attribute he stresses as crucial to his recent rise. When asked if that rise was a surprise, Mendy told France Football last year, no, to have self-confidence is important. It is clear there have been moments where I've achieved good things and others less good things. What I do doesn't surprise me because I work for it. I know I must not take my foot off the gas. He also cites former Marseille teammate and France international goalkeeper Steve Mandanda as a role model. For every goalkeeper, he is an example, Mendy said. In Ligue 1, his reputation is well established. I learned a lot by studying his relationship with his defence and his leadership. For me, this is an astute signing from Chelsea and one that shows the club taking an interesting direction with a reliable, commanding and calming goalkeeping option rather than trying to emulate what Liverpool and Manchester City have achieved with the all-action Brazilian goalkeepers. And, by extension, Mendy's signing amounts to an overt change in tact away from the style of Kepa Arrizabalaga, who, by the way, cost more than twice as much as Mendy will. When you pair this with the move for Thiago Silva, it underlines Chelsea's search for defensive stability, solidarity and security, something a little lacking at times last season. Although, as I mentioned in my Thiago Silva video, also on this channel, I have some doubts about Silva's ability to adapt to the Premier League at this stage in his career. When you add Silva and Mendy to that defence, especially in a three-man centre-back setup, it seems to immediately add stability. Overall, Mendy is a great fit for Chelsea, and I look forward to hopefully seeing him in the Premier League very soon.